Hello, good sir.
Hey man.
How are you?
Tired.
I am tired too, man. I actually fell asleep at my desk at work today,
Nice.
and something loud woke me up right before my friend of a boss was about to take a picture of me. I was like, I woke up.
Friend of a boss as another person, or
No,
you
like
calling him?
he's like one of my bosses, but he's really nice.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to make sure people weren't like, "Oh, damn, you about got fucking in
Yeah,
trouble." No,
okay.
no. He was cool. He's cool. And he was like, "Oh, you were asleep," and I luckily I didn't like startle awake, so I was just like opened my eyes and I went, "What? You trying to take a picture of me sleeping? I wasn't asleep." And he was like, "Oh, sorry." I was like, "Whoo, played that one off," but I was definitely fully asleep.
Nice.
Cool. Good talk.
Yeah.
So, what was I gonna say? This week?
What we are?
Should I do? I'm trying to think. Welcome to Critically Average.
Haha.
I'm trying to decipher when I want to do this and that. I gotta figure it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, this is Critically Average. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Castos. Roll the intro.
Assemble.
Okay, we're back. So I don't have it set up yet to where the intro can play while we're sitting here. I'm
Okay.
working on it. But we have an intro.
Mhm.
I hope you guys liked it. I think we're going to add some more to it. When I was making it, which I did make it, by the way. When I was making it, I really wanted to put like the "I can do this all day" quote and a bunch of other stuff, but a lot of scenes from in-game are just not out yet.
Yeah.
So, and the other "I can do this all day" quotes are either like really sad, you know what I mean? Like one, he just got punched in the face and he's little Steve,
Yeah.
right? Or he's like half dead. So the other one is when he fights Tony and he's like half dead and mad. So he's like, "I can do this all day," and I'm like, I don't know if that's exactly what
Right.
the vibe
Too
I'm going
aggressive.
for.
Yeah. Too aggressive. I got you.
But yeah, currently we are representing in-game and Ragnarok in that intro. So
Yes.
maybe we can get some DC stuff in there. Maybe we can get some other stuff in there. So yeah, but yeah, that's the starting point.
You don't want to put any Dark Phoenix stuff in there?
I think I'm gonna pass. I mean, we'll get into that in a minute, but I think I'm gonna pass.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, you can find us on Twitter at Podcast Average and on Facebook at Critically Average Podcast. Just type it in.
Yep.
We also have a Patreon,
Mhm.
and I think whenever we get some time, we are both very busy, but when we get some time, we're gonna do a commentary on the old Nacho Libre, and if we get to 20 Patrons, we will do an Infinity War commentary.
Yep.
That might change if in-game comes out.
By then. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Whatever
know.
comes
We'll
first.
think about it. So, yeah. So this week we're doing Dark Phoenix, as you alluded to,
Yes.
and I
which
think I
we-
may have already said. Do you just want to get straight into it, or do you have some movie news besides Batman was confirmed? You told me that,
Oh yeah, Batman was confirmed.
but we pretty much knew that was gonna happen anyway.
Yeah.
DC's not
It was,
very
it
good
was
at-
between two and
Who was the other one beside
Nicholas Holt. Beast from the movie we just watched.
Oh,
Mhm.
what? Oh, I actually think he'd be. I think he'd be very good.
Yeah.
Except he's
I
not a
still
very
think
good actor.
Michael Fassbender, but it's
Dude, Michael Fassbender. We'll get into it. Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's just plow.
We're just doing it.
I mean, there's not much going on. It's just summer movie season.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of movie news around September and October because that's when
Oh, I actually
stuff
do
is
have
getting
some
announced for.
movie news.
What's up?
So Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if all of Warner Brothers are just like the DC branch, but they won't be at the Comic-Con, San Diego.
So no one's at Comic-Con because Disney doesn't do it anymore,
Really?
and Warner Brothers isn't there.
So yeah, there's not gonna be a DC stuff there. But they also released a poster for the new Wonder Woman movie.
I saw that actually. Good pointing out there. It's very colorful,
It is.
but it's set in like the 80s, right?
80 Wonder Woman 88, 84, something like that.
But it's in the
80
80s
something.
regardless.
80s, yeah.
So it's like, Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. First one was fine.
Do you think it's like I don't have anything up, but do you think it's pushing like because it is Pride Month, so
Oh, just like the poster itself?
yeah? Do you think it's pushing that narrative a little bit?
I don't know.
I feel
I
like
would
it
have to
is.
see like a trailer.
I find it really weird they dropped it in Pride Month and it's like full on rainbow colors.
Right. I didn't even think about it like that.
But it looks dope, and I think Wonder Woman has been the best looking. Like her outfits have been really freaking cool.
Oh,
Like Batman,
aesthetically?
they've definitely slipped.
Mhm.
Flash looks, for lack of a better term, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. Cyborg,
Eh.
just boring.
Yeah.
Aquaman looks really good.
Yeah.
I've always thought he looked good. And then who else is left? Superman.
Yeah.
Batman, they definitely. Ugh. His.
I'm
I
curious
think
to see what the new one will look like.
because they definitely can't. I don't think they can get what's his face to get as
Buff.
bulk.
Yeah. I heard
Who's
it's supposed
it?
to be
Robert
like
Pattinson.
a noir style.
Oh, lit. Yeah, is he doing that movie? Is that what
I
he's?
think it's called The Batman.
So is he not going to be like the new age Batman, or is he all Batman ever? Like anything DC makes from now on is going to be him,
I don't know.
or is he just a noir thing?
Well, I'm sure they're trying to focus on individual movies instead of setting up stuff now.
Huh.
So I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to get into Dark Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do non-spoilers first.
Yes, because we just saw it at a fan event.
We did.
So I don't. It came out today, right? Like
Yes.
today was the first day.
Like today
when
was
we're
the first
recording
day
this.
that the public could see it.
Right.
Right. So, and this is we're one of the rarest because I don't know if most theaters have the fan event because there
Right.
has to be an IMAX, and IMAX is pretty rare,
Uh huh.
and it is playing. I can't.
I know
see.
it's weird.
Here, maybe this will help you. Yep.
That's what I thought. It was just like doing a section and then loading it.
Is that
Because
better?
I can see the bar at the bottom going when we talk, but
Elijah is, because the computer is behind me, Elijah is in charge of making sure the recording is keeping going, and
Yeah.
we got a new recording software because Audacity's been crap.
Yeah.
So
I can see it now moving. So,
I just reduced the size of the track so that he can actually see it moving.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if IMAX exists, and it is an IMAX exclusive fan event. So I
Well,
think we're a few thousand that have seen
on
it.
this collectible keychain
Uh-huh.
they gave us, it says IMAX on it.
Indeed.
It says opening night fan event IMAX Dark Phoenix.
Hey, I have to say, IMAX changed their intro. It is much better.
That's
You
good.
remember when it used to be like straight out the early 2000s, like
Uh-huh.
computer generated shitty text with a lot of fucking
Right.
what do you call it, reflectiveness to it, because they were like, oh guys, we learned how to do reflections, and they were like, just I want it full mirror. I want
Yeah.
it to reflect the entire Lightroom around it,
Exactly.
please. And
Now just Dolby needs to change theirs.
I like Dolby's. I think it's still relevant.
What was it? You
It's-
said something the other day. It was like it's been like 4 years. They can change it.
That's true. It's boring. I mean, it's the same thing. But see, we go to so many Dolby movies because that's like
That's true.
my favorite. It's like when you see it
I like it more in
over
IMAX probably.
and over and over. Oh, Dolby's much better.
Yeah.
They need to change the seats in our damn
Yeah,
IMAX. It's
man.
bad. I was uncomfortable the
What
whole
are
time.
the old school seats?
Yeah, my
Like
ass
there's
was
zero
numb.
cushion left.
And there's
you
so
know?
many in there that they had to like shove them together. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, because me and a guy, you have to share armrest in this one.
Yeah.
So me and the guy next to me had like an unspoken bond. He got the front of it, and I just kept to the back.
Oh really?
Yeah. So we were like,
Oh, that's nice. Nice. I always feel bad. So like I had an open seat next to me.
mm-hmm.
So if you came around, is that like good for both, or is that kind of like disrespectful? Like I don't want to sit next to you.
Well, the thing is, there was no one next to the guy next to me, so he could have done it.
True.
So,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
But was there somewhere next to the seat next to the empty seat next to him?
I didn't look.
Okay.
I just know next to him was empty.
All right, that's seat
Speaking
talk
of,
for the week.
for a fan event, kind of
Yeah.
empty.
Yeah, it was not exactly. I have 3 empty seats next to me.
Yeah.
And it was just scattered, empty all around.
Mhm.
When we left, we were like, if that was in game.
Well, because we're at the very back row.
Yes.
Like, basically the middle, a little skewed.
Yep.
But, there's 3 seats up there. Like, all the handicap seats at the bottom are empty. Or not handicap, but, like, the floor seats, basically.
Oh, all the
were
front
empty.
row was empty.
Yeah.
There was nobody down there.
Yeah.
Which is fair in an IMAX, because if you think looking up is bad in a normal movie theater, it's getting a lot better with reclining seats, because you can just lay back and you can kind of get your head up to that instead of having to have your eyes look up.
Well, if you're in the middle, if you're on the side,
if you're on the side, it's
you gotta,
weird.
like,
Yeah, we watched Quiet Place like that.
Yeah.
It was sus. Like watching it like this is.
Kong Skull Island like that as well.
Oh, that's a long movie.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Dark Phoenix.
Yes. We were just talking about the experience.
Okay, let's try to lock down. We should probably do this offline, but let's try to lock down what we're gonna do in non-spoilers, because I get really confused on where to start, because I have so many plot points I want to talk about,
Right.
but
You
I
take
can't.
notes during the movie.
So if it's not a crazy important movie,
Mhm.
I'm not taking notes during an in-game.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to. But this movie, there's no one next to me. There's you, and so I was just like, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? We'll just wing it today, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll lock
Okay.
it down for
Okay.
later.
Did you think it was as bad as you thought it was gonna be?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, besides one scene in particular, it was just kind of boring.
It's flat.
It's flat.
It's definitely flat. I really don't think it's a 23 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't think it's that bad.
I could be losing my credibility here as a X-Men hater. But man, I tell you what, I going into this, I was expecting huge swatches of this movie to just be
okay.
right, and to have just non-stop Aquaman level dialogue.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are big swatches of this movie that are, and there are big swatches or big moments of wow, really, that's the audio they went, or the dialogue they went for there. Yeah, I think the writing has some problem, but the premise is actually really good, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking, it definitely could have been done better.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll get more into it in spoilers. But if it was in the hands of better,
I agree.
It could have been a lot better.
There's one thing I find refreshing about this movie, and that's that there's no jokes.
There tried to be.
Maybe 2 throughout the whole movie.
Right.
Whereas it is Marvel's prerogative to have jokes nonstop, right?
Yeah.
Even in Endgame, which is a pretty sad movie, they're joking, they're riffing constantly, which is fine. I mean, that's good. But if every superhero thing was like that, that's why when DC kind of went to the Shazam route, I'm like, I like it, but it's also kind of okay, we're just getting all jokey,
Yeah.
right? And that's why last week was kind of interesting, because that's the opposite of joking. You know what I mean?
Brightburn?
That was murder. And so this is I think a good middle ground where it's not there's no jokes in the important plot points of this movie.
Yeah.
Or important scenes, right? Set pieces.
Right. This was PG-13, right?
Yeah.
They exercised their one F word.
They did exercise their one non-sexual version of the word fuck. And all other pronouns all other verb / pro what's the adverb?
Oh, okay.
Is that what it is?
I don't know what you're going for, but sure.
Isn't it an adverb? It wasn't an adverb.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
English. Yeah. Basically, you can't use the F word in a sexual tone.
Right.
It has to be directed at someone in a insult or something like that, or a desperation, fuck. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That
actually caught me off guard.
Oh, it really caught me. I was like, which I kind of, again, I liked it because I feel like X-Men is made more for the middle, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Marvel feels like it's made for both adults and kids.
Yeah.
X-Men is more like the, I would say, 17 to like 28 range,
Right.
you know? Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I just wish
Until
they were
Deadpool
better.
came.
Yeah, Deadpool's definitely.
Yeah, overtaking that, I would think.
It just needs to be better. That's it.
Yeah. Well, because Bryan Singer did all the previous ones.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he's kind of blacklisted from Hollywood. So.
Did you feel that you needed to see the last two X-Men to figure out what's going on?
Parts of it, yes.
Yeah.
Because the very beginning, I was like, I had a question mark like immediately of just like timeline stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and these timelines are already convoluted and confusing.
Yeah, but they've kind of rebooted it and locked it down. I watched the last two this week.
Okay. What?
So,
Apocalypse and Days of Future Past?
yeah, those are really the two that kind of retcon the whole timeline.
Right.
Because the timeline, like you said, was all sorts of nuts. And so they just kind of said, we're just going to go. They kind of just set up this plot point where they had to go back and reset. And that's why they have all new actors, right? Except for Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh. Well.
Who I have something to say about her. I took a note about her.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, you took, what, like 5 or 6 notes?
Yeah.
I've never seen you take that many before, really. Actually, I did in Captain Marvel, I believe.
Yeah, I've been trying to, what's it called? I will say, what was I going to say? They did a really good job of hiding secrets in the trailer.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I was kind of proud of, and I was like, I hope Marvel takes notes and is like, oh, okay, because they did a lot of the what do you call it? The Dark Knight Rises kind of show something, and you think you know what's going on, and then you see it in the movie, and you're like, that's backwards from what it was. For example, in the Dark Knight Rises, I can remember the trailer for that. The Joker is shooting in the street. You remember when he gets out of the semi and he just like, so they show that scene and he's shooting down the street, and then the next scene you see is a semi flipping over. So you're like, what? Shooting at a semi makes it flip over, and then you watch the movie and it is completely backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and they did a really good job of that.
Yeah.
They did kind of spoil the whole movie though. Like the set pieces follow the exact route that it does in the movie.
I think so, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was trying to remember the trailers and stuff, but there's nothing like
the
left
main
out.
trailer, the one with the I don't know what to do, which by the way isn't in the
Isn't in
movie.
there.
Sad face.
Sad. I was waiting for that.
I was waiting in bated breath.
Yeah.
I was like, please, please, please.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. But yeah, so it never got there. But yeah, that main trailer, they just followed the set pieces the exact way.
Yeah. I think because there's nothing like crazy surprising that wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by anything.
Yeah.
What do you think of the villain? Well,
is that spoilers to get into?
Did you not? I mean, don't really give away anything. Did you like her? Like, did you feel like she was menacing / villainy? I never felt threatened by her once.
Not until she got those powers, but even then she didn't do anything with them.
I felt like she was just a means to an end. They're like, we need some way for there to be a conflict, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, it's kind of a spoiler, but she had opportunity to, but she never, like, killed anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think she kills that person at the beginning.
Okay. When she's first introduced?
Yes, but like that's so insignificant.
Yeah.
That it does not matter.
And that guy kind of seemed like a dick anyway.
Yeah, fucking for real, right? He's like, just stay. It's like, she can't go check on the dog. Like it's so your little dinner party is so important.
Exactly.
To be fair, she probably shouldn't have checked on the dog, but
white people.
By the way, any reason this woman just lives her daily life looking like a damn villain? Like, she just looks like a fucking villain.
Oh, like she was dressed and stuff.
What? And just her whole aesthetic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if she walked into the office,
Bleached
she'd
blonde
be like,
hair with
"Dude,
pale eyes.
Tiffany's fucking scary. She looks weird, man. She looks
Yeah.
like she's ready to take down the earth." I thought they were gonna like, you know, have something happen to where she becomes like that. Nope, that's just her normal everyday look.
Yeah. Cause,
Crazy.
Yeah, I was curious how they would introduce her or something in the movie.
Yeah, because I had no idea who she was going in.
Yeah.
And I know a little bit about the
Don't
X-Men,
even
so
know
I was
her
like,
name. So
I don't
like,
know who this is.
she was given one, but it was something else.
You're right. She was given one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would you get it out of 100? Go.
I don't know. I mean, probably 50.
Just middle of the road.
Just middle of the road.
That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
It's just kind of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a waste of your time, but it's also not the best use of your time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If you're a big X-Men fan, I'd go see it. If you like the one in the past,
if you like the previous 3 or even the other ones,
you'll definitely like this.
Mhm.
I thought this was much better than Days of Future Past.
really?
Yeah,
What
Days
about
of Future
Apocalypse?
Past. Apocalypse is really bad.
Oh yeah, that one's really bad.
Apocalypse is really... The thing I hated about Apocalypse was the fucking ending. I was like... and all the...
With Jean?
Huh?
With Jean? That ending or what?
Yeah, where Apocalypse makes Magneto mess up the core
Mm-hmm.
of the Earth, and so all the like tornadoes and shit is happening. I'm like, this feels like one of those disaster movies. It's just lame.
Yeah.
You know, they think they want to show off their, you know, their visual effects masterpiece, and it's just like,
Right.
this is lame.
Right. First Class was good. That one I enjoyed.
First Class, yeah. For sure.
But yeah,
Days of Future Past is not bad.
Yeah.
I just like this one more. I felt like there was more stakes and like more interesting character development in this.
Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't, to a certain point into the movie, I wasn't sure how it was gonna end.
Yeah.
But as soon as something happened, I was like, oh, okay, it's just gonna.
Yep. Oh, you want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. If you had to rename this movie, what would you rename it?
You want me to be serious or you want
No.
me to be joking?
Because I have an answer and it's not serious.
X-Men, tiny scratches on the face.
Because everybody gets
Everybody gets itty bitty little scratches on their face. It's fucking comical. It's like these little scratches, just little beep,
right.
beep. Like through the whole movie, fucking
Magneto gets them.
what's Cyclops' real name?
Scott.
Scott has like little beep in it on his little thing,
Yeah.
and fucking Quicksilver gets them, Magneto gets them,
Beast.
Storm has them at one time,
Beast gets them when he's a
Beast
human.
has them. It's like, what is up with these itty bitty little face scratches?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
It's just gonna be like, Jean.
Jean? Dude, so many
I
Jeans.
wanted to count how many times they just said Jean.
Jane.
Jean. Where is she? Jean.
Jane.
That they just. It's like instead of they didn't know how to write something at the time, so they're just yelling her name.
Pretty much.
There's a lot of just yelling Jean. So
The other thing is, do you normally call Brooke?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
She usually gets mad when I just call her straight up Brooke.
Exactly. So
She
like
thinks she's in
Scott
trouble.
is running around going, Jean. Wouldn't he be like, babe, or honey, or you know what I mean? Just anything, you know? No, he's Jean. Jean, stay with me. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. It just felt kind of contrived.
Yeah.
So why'd you hate this movie so much?
Dialogue, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
There were times we just looked at each other.
Oh, the fucking villain has the worst acting and lines. I mean, there's the one in the trailer that you've been making fun of for weeks, and it's where she goes, "Who are you?"
No, she says,
She says,
"Hi,
no.
Jean. Hi, Jean. Who are you?"
Well, she says
I'm
hi. She goes, "Hey, Jean," and she's like, "How do you know who I am?" And she goes, she says something along. the
No,
lines-
okay. Evil lady says, "Hi, Jean." She says, "Who are you?" More importantly, Who are you?
Who are you? Gene.
I'm Gene.
I just said, you just called me Gene.
You ever heard them yelling my name this whole movie?
Yeah, it's fucking lame. Yeah, there. And then like the other glaring one I can remember is the fight scene in the New York City, off of Central Park house.
Yeah.
Like what an iconic location. Right. That like the whole Magneto thing. She's like, "You came here to kill me," and he goes, "Yes." I'm like, "Fucking
That's
really?
right.
Yes."
I think he says that's right.
Same
way, I'm
difference,
saying.
right? It's like, who just confirms? Who's just floating? And goes, "Yes, I am here to kill you." Interesting you say that. And then she goes, "Let me show you how." I'm like, this is fucking lame, dude. This is lame. A lot of the times they like make people talk, and it's like you just
exactly.
You
That's what I'm saying. Like they just made people just scream out Gene to kill
like
black
fill
air.
dead air.
Yeah.
It's like, well, movies can have dead air because they have visuals. You know, audio can't have dead air. Like podcasts, dead air is bad.
The first red flag for the bad dialogue was like the first 5 minutes of the movie with Nightcrawler. We're going to space, you know?
Dude, that whole intro scene was really bad.
Yeah.
Like when Jennifer Lawrence is talking to Jean, and she's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Like, yes. Like, okay. Well, I forget you can read minds. Like, no, you fucking don't. You live with Professor X. You like every day of your life, you think about someone reading your mind. So like, the fact that, it's ridiculous. But what was I gonna say? And then the other other really, really, really bad audio that should just never make, like, whoever edited it, you know, they have to watch these things back like 1,000 times to make sure everything. Whoever sat there and watched that over and over again and went, yes, needs to be fired.
Which part are you talking?
When the aliens, spoiler alert, when the aliens break into the train and the guy finally unleashes all the mutants from their captivity, and they say something like, "Get out of the way," or, you know, "Let us to her," or something like that, what the alien does, and Beast goes, "No." I'm like, it is the most corny, fucking weak, flat no on the planet. It's like, and they're standing there like the fucking Avengers, like all like, yeah, and he goes, "No." It's like, you couldn't come up with anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah,
like, I know you used your.
examples.
Oh my god. Okay.
What'd you think of the villains in general?
They're bad. They're just
so
nothing.
at first I thought they were Skrulls,
I did too.
but then they just started like having powers and weird stuff.
Yeah, they're just
They never
irrelevant.
really explained what they were.
That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't really care. But just make them interesting though.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain their backstory and everything like that, but show that they're somewhat interesting. Instead, they just kind of gave these weird set of powers, and they all went to the Tom Cruise I don't know how to run school.
Oh, dude, it was so like
Noodly.
loosey-goosey,
Yeah.
noodly.
There's this one scene with a black alien, the main black tall guy alien is running at Magneto, and I was like, did this turn into like a Quiet Place with these weird fucking? He's like. His
like
arm
Matrix.
It's so weird, and it's like, I understand why. It's because they shot that late.
Oh yeah, they did redo that.
And
scene.
there's the scene where the guy jumps into the helicopter. That whole thing is like straight out of 2006.
Whatever they're running,
Rubber bull crap. Yeah.
Well, no, and earlier in the movie when Quicksilver had his running scene, he was not in this at all. Quicksilver, but he had his running scene, but it was like everything was paused, but he was just moving like a normal person.
Yeah, it's really awkward.
Yeah,
no one knows how to run like that. Like
Flash.
Flash was so much worse. I gotta be honest.
I'd say the only decent one so far has been Quicksilver.
In Days of Future Past.
No, I meant in Age of Ultron and.
Yeah, but they never show him slow.
I know, but they didn't mess it up.
True. I think Quicksilver's halfway decent in Days of Future Past.
That's true, with that
one
kitchen scene.
Yeah, so like, you've done it before. Just do it again. Just call that director and be like, "Hey, what exactly did you do again?"
Yeah.
Whatever, man. I'm gonna look at my notes here. So
I wanted to ask you this real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
Is it hard to think of an actor that you watching something else play someone else? Because she's obviously Sansa.
yeah, the first when she's not doing powers and I mean Jean is in Apocalypse pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean she's in it quite a bit. But yeah, it was definitely weird. And I saw some of the stone cold acting that she does in Game of Thrones because that's her character. And I think as the movie went on, she got out of it a little more. And I think the scenes with Scott really surprised me because they actually feel like they like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And her voice comes down and she gets kind of whispery and like, you know, and I was like surprised by that because there are some scenes in Game of Thrones where she's supposed to be like that and she just gives it like
full gusto.
I love you. And I'm like,
stone delivery.
no, she's just deadpan sometimes, you know?
Gotcha.
And yeah, I think she's really good. But yeah, it was definitely hard at the beginning.
I gotcha.
Who do you think's the worst actor in this movie?
Oof.
Besides the clearly obvious ones, like the secondhand aliens and shit.
Or
and
the secondhand mutants.
Yeah.
With probably the dumbest power, like, mutation I've ever seen. The
Which
guy
one?
with the dreadlocks.
Oh god, that was so bad.
Like, that was just dumb. You couldn't just pick another mutant out of the vault?
Just fucking
Something
anything.
cooler?
Yeah, and he's like the right hand man. Like
Yeah.
he earned his way to the top with whips,
Probably-
dreadlock whips that
Probably
are.
lice. Just sprouted lice
Whatever,
on
dude.
everybody, and like by default.
And oh my, both of those characters were awful. The second, she's like the weakest. So there's 3 telekinesis mind readers in this movie,
Yeah.
and one of them is dog shit, just like the movie. No, I'm just
That-
kidding.
That girl.
She's so bad.
You asked me who I thought the worst.
Who do you
was.
think
Out
did
of
the worst
mains,
acting?
I mean, the villain.
Yes, I would
Going with that?
definitely agree. For a
Trying to think.
pretty leading
Just-
role.
Just about all the kids were terrible.
Oh yeah, Jean's kid. Oh,
Again, like that. Like the kid was deadpan.
oh, the kid was so callous. I was like, come on.
So nonchalant about her parents.
Yeah, and
dead.
I'm sure they were like, all right, we need you to be like, you know, that you don't care that your parents are dead, but they don't need you to be like, oh, they're dead, aren't they?
Well, and she's like so self-aware of like
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
At what,
She's
8?
like, she said, I can't. Like, she's talking
I'm
about
broken.
breaking things.
I'm broken.
Yeah. She's like,
What 8-year-old?
she's
does
like,
that?
what? He's like, I can fix it if you break it. You know, he's trying to be good. Like
Yeah.
Xavier's trying to be a good guy, and she's like, not everything. And I was like, Jesus, are you talking about murdering people already? God.
Yeah, I was
Yo,
like,
her dad can fuck off. God, what a horrible human being.
Well, see, I was thinking this because the dad is still alive, and
Yes.
she finds out like Charles was hiding that from her, and she
which
goes to-
would, which to be fair, would make you pretty mad.
Yeah.
If you learn that your whole life is kind of a lie.
But there's like when you get married to someone, you know, it's a special bond and stuff. But when you have a kid, that's blood. You know
That's
what
like
I'm
the
saying?
new bond.
That's the new bond. Like,
Most people say they love their kid more than their significant other.
well, you would if you had to choose one. A lot of people would like. I'm not saying
Well, they
You-
both agree mutually that
yeah,
the
it's
kid
like
is more
kid.
important.
It's for the kid, you know.
And then he says, my whole world died that day. I'm like, bitch, you're literally talking to the other part.
Yeah.
Most people, when their significant other dies, the kid becomes the next, like, because that's the last piece of them that
Mhm.
exists, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have fucking picture of it on the wall.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that was the reason she came around. That's why I kind of like the movie, is because it wasn't dumb. Some movies are fucking dumb when it comes to their reasoning for people hating each other. You know what I mean? But this one made total sense, right? There is one scene that I'll talk about that I was like, Gene, what are you doing? And all of this can be kind of thrown away with the fact that she has that shit in her, right? The power, the spark of the universe.
Yeah. The thing that created the universe that killed it, or something.
Whatever.
Kills it.
Whatever. It's some arbitrary power.
Some MacGuffin.
Yeah, it's kind of a shitty MacGuffin, yeah. But it's not too bad. It's a little less contrived than other
It's not like they're
MacGuffins.
chasing that the whole time. You know?
Yeah. So, and then, but the fact that her realizing that.
You scared the crap out
I
of him.
scared the shit out of him. I just
Aw.
wanted you to stop licking yourself, buddy.
He's so round. Like he's sitting right now, he's just a perfect circle.
What's it called? The fact that her realizing that Xavier was trying to do the right thing by protecting her, right? And the progression of that, like she learned, oh, Xavier kept my dad from me. I'm gonna go meet him. And the way she's like, it's so good to see you. Like she loves him, and then she gets betrayed, and then she realizes. She thinks that everyone betrayed her, and that's why she goes to Magneto, right? She's like, everything's... My father doesn't like me. The X-Men don't like me. You know what I mean? Beast doesn't like me. I've killed somebody now. It's like she's at wit's end, and it takes Xavier showing her, like, look. I've been here. Yeah. I've been here the whole time trying to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, that was cool. I thought that was good. That was good writing. I don't know what happened to the rest of the writing, but that was good writing. So I have a few things written down.
Okay.
So did it feel at all like Jennifer Lawrence was like, get me the fuck out of this movie?
Hell yeah.
I feel like she was like, listen, I'll come back to this movie if you write me into a corner in which I get out of it. And literally, 30 minutes in, her character's like,
we knew that in the trailers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So it's not like they tried hiding that. Wasn't a big surprise. But yeah, you could tell. She was a little checked out.
Oh, she did not want to be there. I think her acting is probably second worst in the whole movie. It's so dry and just boring.
At least Harrison Ford put in a good effort in.
Who?
Harrison Ford when he was Han Solo for the last time.
Yeah. He looked like he was kind of having fun.
Yeah, he's like, I never have to do this again.
Exactly, right?
At least he gave it a good old
college try.
Oh, dude, you. That's exactly what I was gonna
say. Yeah, man. But a scene right before that. So they set up this thing right with Scott and Jean, where she's like, "I'll never."
I'll always come back to you.
Yeah, I'll always come back to you, right? And I was like, okay. They set this up. Like, I understand what they're doing with it, right? And they're gonna use this in the climax of the movie. And it's going to be meaningful, right? And it's what's going to bring Jean back. Then fucking 15 minutes later, they use it, and it does nothing. And I was like, what? Why? Why would you set up this love plot point and then just fart in the wind later? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what? It made no sense. I was like... Okay, so she doesn't give a shit about him apparently, which is like, oh man, which he's literally one of two people, and the other person kind of wavers a little bit that cares about Jean at all. Everyone else is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, even Storm is like, you fucking murdered her. We need to kill her, right? And Scott's like, relax, everybody. She's still in there. Yeah. Bro, what is up with the X-Men party? That was weird.
Yeah. Well, but see, we didn't even talk about, like, the bad guys coming down and they shapeshift into just people.
Yeah, that's the joke I was making about the lady being, like, she looks like a supervillain on first appearance.
Yeah.
I was expecting the aliens to come down, right? And then her be, like, a different look. You know, like her hair be something different, and they transform into her, and it kind of messes her up.
Right.
Because her cheeks are all sunken.
Yeah.
And everything. It's just weird.
Well, the thing is, they showed that scene.
Yeah.
And then a straight cut to their party.
Did you notice?
At first I was like, are those the aliens?
Yeah, it was weird.
It was like another blonde girl, like, dancing and stuff, and you didn't get a good picture till a little bit.
Did you notice something about that?
About what?
About that scene and then the next scene? And then a scene later?
They like teleported to their own backyard or something?
No.
That's what it looked like?
No. It's the same exact place.
Yeah.
The woods that the aliens came out of. They
shot it all in the same place.
The woods that the party is in.
Yeah.
The woods surrounding the island that Magneto is on, and the woods that they come out of into the
New
New
York.
York City fight
Yeah.
all the same.
Yeah, I don't doubt
It's all the exact same place.
it. I don't doubt it.
I noticed. I was like, those trees look exactly the same. They are the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The ground is the same. Everything. It's like for
One
example.
was all dark too, so they probably shot those all at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You got all the actors there that you need.
Yeah.
Just change your clothes and move on.
I don't even think they
Beast
did
is a fucking horrible fighter.
Beast.
Yeah.
Well,
He's so slow.
he does all these flips. He's humongous.
Yeah, right. So he turns into Beast, and then immediately a second later gets foiled by a car. He walks out into traffic. I mean, the first lane of traffic, and there's a car wreck, and he's like, "Oh!"
Yeah.
He has to like jump on top of it, all like at 3 miles per hour, and he's so unmenacing.
Yeah, they have him do all these like acrobatic flips and stuff, and he just like swipes at a guy.
And he's supposed to be incredibly smart.
Mhm.
So don't you think he would use his brain more in a fight? Like
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to see. I don't know. He's dumb.
Yeah.
Speaking of Beast, when they realize that he was obviously pissed off at Jean
Yes.
because he thinks that Jean murdered Raven, which she did. Let's be fair. And so he heads to Magneto, but before that, Scott runs into Professor X's office, which is presumably like the day after Raven is buried, and goes, Hank's not in class. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. Like, will you expect him to get right back to business the day after?
Yeah.
I was like,
Who tattles on a teacher not being there? You just wait your 15 minutes and go, man.
I was so bothered by that. I was like, if he would have been like, hey, I haven't seen Hank today, that I would have been totally fine with that. But Hank's not in class? Yeah, I think he can take a few days off.
Yeah.
His fucking wife / significant other is dead. Like, he should take a few months off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, dude. Yeah. I have another. So, another thing that made me laugh. So, you remember when the girl is showing Jean, which, by the way, they convolute this whole thing, right? So, they say the aliens want to take over Earth. They make that clear. They're like, we can kill all of them and take it over, right? And then, later, she shows Jean that she can make new planets. So why don't they just fuck off with Jean and go make a new planet? Like, why they gotta take over Earth with 7.6 billion people on it?
Yeah.
Like, fuck all them.
Yeah.
Let's get us 16 weird... I guess there's a lot more than 16, but...
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I mean, you just need to...
It's like
it's
Thanos.
just like they're
It's
just
like
using
Thanos,
these cookie
man.
cutter villain motives.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just come up with something different. It doesn't have to be take over the world.
I'm glad it didn't start terraforming the Earth. I would have lost my mind. I'd have been like, this again.
At what point would have you walked out?
Also, can I just say, that planet that she shows that Jean can make, remember? That would be a horrible planet. Did you see the state of that thing?
Yeah.
It was just like it was like spears of rocks everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, where would you build a house on there? You know what I mean? Where are you gonna build anything, any infrastructure whatsoever? You're like, well, there's no place of flat land anywhere on this planet, and we're between a gargantuan shard of a mountain and another gargantuan shard of a mountain that has a waterfall somehow falling off the front edge of it, by the way, which breaks physics whatsoever, unless there's a magical spring somewhere. I was like, what is happening?
That's hilarious.
The things I see. You want to talk about the most unintended joke of the entire movie? Do you know what it is?
Ooh, it could be a couple. What are you thinking?
It wasn't an actual like verbal joke. There was a shit verbal joke. If you want to tell that one.
About like it was meant to be a joke?
Yeah.
Was it Quicksilver?
What was that one?
Oh. Hey, slow down. Safety first.
That was funny. I turned to you and went, "You get it? It's because he's fast." What was the joke that you told?
Oh, she turned into a phoenix. I was like, get it? She's a phoenix.
I almost turned to you and went, not very dark though, because she's very bright. What's it called? The other joke that was totally intended and right up Brie Larson's lane is a fucking.
Should be she women.
yeah, the women are really saving things around here. It's like, can you just be a team player, please, J-Lo? Relax. God.
Yeah.
No, the most unintended joke in the entire movie was the fucking neck collars. Oh my God, I laughed so hard. That was the...
They could have just straight off.
No.
Oh, what?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
When the army or whatever comes in.
In New York?
Like,
They
tie
just-
him up in a noose and just drag him.
They got these poles. And they're just pulling them around, dude. That was hilarious. I literally was cracking up. I was like, really? That's the, like,
That's
minimum,
the best way.
minimum mutant decency. They
Yeah.
just literally strap this thing, and it's like a perfect ring around their head, so that they can just fucking sling them around, and they're just dragging them through glass and dirt and blood,
Debris,
and
everything.
just, God, dude.
Tetanus.
By the way, in that fight scene, why did he have to pull? Besides spectacle, why did he have to pull a subway car? There is a double-decker bus right there. Is that not equivalent to the size?
It'd be a lot easier to move. I'll tell you that too.
It
It's
also,
already
you know,
on wheels.
can you imagine what happened in that subway after? It's just mayhem. You're lucky the whole city didn't fall down, you know?
Yeah, right.
God.
Yeah.
It's
Like
just
it could have been on a gas line.
and it took him like 5 minutes. He's like, I'm like, just
Yeah.
grab the double-decker bus.
Like in Apocalypse, he just started tearing up the core. in
Also, they
5
have
minutes.
a teleporter, so they're getting in the room. You're not spoiling anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God. Sometimes there's just some of the set pieces just don't make any sense.
One thing I had a problem with,
Yes.
that the first X-Men movie was like what, 2000 or 1990 something?
Yeah. Right. 2003, I think.
Yeah. Storm has had the exact same looking powers since then.
Oh yeah. Her like,
Her specifically her lightning powers.
It's
and
so bad.
electricity,
It looks
it's
awful.
So bad.
it looks so bad.
Like it's been 20 years. And
Yeah.
they haven't changed it or enhanced it or made it look cool at all.
No, it just she's just boring to watch. I think she's without a doubt the least interesting to watch.
It's cool
She has,
when her
like-
eyes go cloudy.
She has the most interesting power set.
Mm-hmm.
Like Flash does better with her powers. He like makes tornadoes and shit
Yeah,
And-
and lightning.
and lightning, and
Or,
he's so much more interesting. Like the way
yeah.
he throws it and everything.
Yeah.
And hers is just like, let me just channel some and push it, and let me channel some more and push it.
Yeah.
Like Captain America is better at moving.
Yeah.
2000. X2 is
Okay.
2003.
Does make me excited for Mortal Kombat movie if they make one soon.
Oh, with Raiden?
Yeah, with Raiden. Just to show off some real powers and stuff.
I hope they
Because
keep.
like Thor is like the pinnacle of lightning powers.
Oh
I would
yeah,
say.
his are cool.
Yeah. And then there's Storm on the bottom.
Storm is it's so bad. She's
Mhm.
so lame to watch. Every single time she's on screen, I'm like, get
It's
her
just
off.
Summon some, shoot it. Summon, shoot.
And then when she's not doing that, she's like making it cloudy
Yeah.
and shooting some ice. So
Like-
much ice. So much ice.
It wasn't even like.
So much ice. You know, one of those kids is an ice guy, right?
Yeah, what happened to him? There used to be one.
No, I'm just saying, like, she's not the pinnacle of ice. Like, there's a Frozone out there, you know,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like intentional, but like, there's a lot of paraplegic or what do you call it? What's it called? Paralyzed, kind of like
Oh yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it was like
subtle
Why do you have to? 'Cause
making.
she made him walk or
Walk
she
up the
made
steps?
Professor
That's another bad dialogue.
X.
Walk to me. It's like, are
Walk?
we really
No, I
playing this?
can't.
Like, what if a dude has a wheelchair? It's like, isn't that kind of rude?
Yeah,
was
I
like-
was thinking that too.
It was so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole time, you know when you get really awkward and your neck starts to sweat
Yeah.
and you just get that was happening to me. I was like, this is just weird. This feels like convoluted and weird. And then there was a funny one. The same train scene. The same train
Everyone's
scene.
unlocked
Everyone-
and everything,
and they
they're
get
all
up.
getting up, and he's like,
Well, he touches his head,
yeah.
and I was like, what's he doing? And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He can't get up like the rest of
But he like moved up like he was going to.
Yeah.
And then he was like, he forgot or something. He
Yeah,
realized he was
that's
like, oh
why
shit.
I was laughing. I was like,
Why
they
would
all
you do
got
that?
up and stood in this badass stance, and you just got Xavier like slumped in the corner with his hand on his head, like, I'm ready to fight, y'all.
It reminded me of Joe from Family Guy.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, but some positives of this movie. I think the music was fucking good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Very good. And the visual, I think the first 15 minutes of this movie, besides that one dialogue scene we talked about, are actually pretty good. Like them saving the guys, and the
space.
Yeah, and Richard Nixon calling and like asking the X-Men for help, and them working together and all that are really good. And I think the train scene, I was not looking forward to that. I was like, they shot that last minute. It's gonna be crap. It's gonna be a generic fight scene, but it really wasn't. It was like Magneto got his.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler
really cool.
went off.
Yeah.
Which I love because that's his character. He's a nice guy, right?
Well, he became that. At first, he was just. Well, it depends on what you. Because in the old X-Men, he wasn't.
He was messed up, yeah.
And then in this, he was always like a religious. Like,
well, he's always
follower.
he's always been a religious,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in the X-Men, like original, he's obviously gone off the deep end.
Well, yeah, like his introduction was him teleporting like into the Oval Office, killing people as he went.
Yep. And so, yeah, and they meet him at that like decrepit church.
Yeah.
And everything, but this is like before all that, so he's like a really timid kid, kind of. And so, I liked how he tries to save that guy, and he's like, "Oh, don't die, please." And you can just see him kind of flip to like, "Okay, I have to kill people now," basically. You know what I mean? And he gets some badass kill scenes, especially the train one.
The train one was dope.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Magneto had some sick kills.
Yeah.
They did a really good.
I really like Magneto in these.
Oh, Michael Fassbender is without a doubt the best actor in this entire thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the most annoying thing about the acting in this is everyone feels like when they start their lines, they have to get their lines out in a matter of seconds.
No one
Sophie
says
Turner
more than like 2 sentences at a time.
And they just rip. They say, all right, for example, right? If I was to tell you to say, okay, that sounds good, right? And you were skeptical about it. You're like, okay, I mean, that sounds good, right? But in this movie, they'd go, okay, that sounds good. It's like they just rip it out,
right.
And it's like give it some space to move to marinate.
Yeah, it
right?
just seems so scripted.
And so when Michael Fassbender gets on screen, he's like moving around the room, he's breathing, he's letting his sentences block together, and it's like I don't know if that's an actor thing or a script thing, but I have to believe it's an actor thing.
Yeah. Right?
And where they're trying to get the other guys to do it 5, 6, 7 takes, like slow down. They're like first take, he's got it. You know what I mean? It's just And there's sometimes you can't save it. Like the script you're given is just so bad.
Yeah.
And there are times when he says stuff and you're just like, bruh. I didn't like the Jean attacking the military thing.
Just because?
I felt like that was more her just being pissed.
Yeah.
Whereas the other times felt like somebody really did her wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, the military hadn't really done anything to her yet, and she was like, I'm just ready to murder these people.
She was very much ready. And also, it was in the trailers, Magneto dodging the way of that blade.
Yeah.
He does not move.
He doesn't. He literally just
not move.
watches it go by.
He just
turns.
But his feet stand still. So.
Yeah, so if it really was on his path, he would have got chopped right in half.
Yep, unless he bent it out of the way.
True, that would be cool. But it doesn't look like it does that.
I don't think he had time to react because it was just like off and then through him. You know.
There's one thing I have problem with this movie is there's a lot of just like implied force happening by portraying hands. I'm sorry.
Well,
do you know what I'm saying? Because you have Magneto.
To show someone else was doing more powerful things, they would use their other hand. It's like one hand.
Exactly.
But
that's
then
what
if
I'm
I needed more, I'll do my other.
That's what I'm talking about. Like if I was Jean, I'd just have my hands by my side at all times just to look badass. You know what I mean? Can you imagine just doing things and you're just standing there just like... And they definitely do not... I think they... Something that Brightburn did really well, which is surprising, is dangling feet.
Yeah.
When you
dangle.
Yeah, whenever he floated, his feet would hang. right? And this, it looks like they're standing. Like, yeah, they're like flat in the air. I'm like, what's happening? Like when Magneto first comes out of his little thing, and he's like, you're like, whoa, okay, that's weird.
Just T-posing.
Doesn't look right. Yeah, it looks weird, man. It looks weird. Oh, you got anything else?
I don't think so. I got everything. Oh, the thing that they're saying, the timeline. I was trying to figure out as soon as the movie started because Sophie Turner, Jean Grey wasn't in all the movies before this.
Mm-hmm.
I think her first one was Apocalypse, right?
Yes. Because
Was she wasn't in First Class, I didn't think. Or not First Class, but Days of Future Past. And I was trying to think, like, when did Charles become handicapped? Because at the end of First Class, he got shot, and then in Days of Future Past, he got it back, but lost his powers. And I'm thinking at the beginning when he meets Kid Jean Grey.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Again, just these timelines just take away
The
from
X-Men's timeline is the most.
Yeah. Just it sucks that it takes away from the movie, and I have to think about if that matches up. You know what I'm saying?
Apparently, she's been in it for a minute. Last Stand, X2,
Yeah, there was a different actor and stuff though. Not
well, yeah,
Sophie Turner.
but they reset all the actors in Days of Future Past.
You know what I'm saying, but Jean Grey wasn't in First Class or Days of Future Past. I'm pretty sure.
You sure?
I'm almost positive. Just look up Sophie Turner.
Working on it.
Or Sophie Jonas. Is she married yet?
She's not. And most of the time they keep their last name.
Yeah,
Just because
making a Jonas Brother joke.
I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you might be right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Boom.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely what?
So, Sophie Grenier, graphic designer.
Oh.
And Sophie Coder,
Oh.
matte painter and environment HD. Shout out to those two people. You're on the podcast. You're popular now. You're famous. You got
You're
a
welcome.
total of
That's the
like
only shout out you've probably
1,400
gotten.
people watching you. You're welcome. Man, that's deep in the cast list. Wow. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know. I got nothing.
Right. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's just it sucks that I have to think about that instead of watching the movie to
Facts.
learn something.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
All right, you want to rate it real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Boner score.
Near.
No.
I was more hyped of the spectacle of it, like to see how bad it was. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was excited to see Michael Fassbender, and that's about it.
That's true. So no.
No. Cinematography. I think it's good.
Besides the goofy running, yeah.
Yeah,
The
I think
noodleness.
I think the majority of it was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think all of Dark Phoenix stuff was really good. The cracking face was like,
Yeah.
nice. Is that Ready Player One guy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
So now he's been in 3 movies that he's had shit on his face the whole time.
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad for that guy. He's like his actual face has not been on screen
Right.
very much.
Yeah.
Man, that sucks.
Or at least his eyes.
He does a really good job of portraying emotion without eyes, which are your emotion, like literal.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, you cry out of them. You squint, your eyebrows, everything.
Yeah.
He does a really good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
He's a good fucking actor. He's good. I think he's really good. He needs to break out and do something. Okay, so rewatchability.
Nah, not for a while.
It's just kind of like once it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's nothing you need to go back and watch
Yeah.
to like understand it again. You basically understand everything.
Acting.
See, the main group was good, minus the villain, I'd say.
I think the major downfalls are there are some beast scenes that are very bad. Like, for example, when him and Professor X are talking in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
that's just bad. Like, I was like, if you put me in that situation, I'll deliver a better, because he knocks the glass out of his hands
Yeah.
and gets like sort of angry. I was
Like, your name's Beast.
Yeah,
You're
you
not
need to
supposed
be.
calm
You need
and
to be like
collected.
full. You know what I mean? And
Uh-huh.
he's just kind of like, you did this. I'm like, what? You went like half throttle. You need to go full throttle at that moment. You just physically broke a glass out of this man's hand. Like
Yeah.
you need to be.
Yeah.
I want you to be like kind of Mark Ruffalo, like kind of getting green. You know what I mean? Like kind of getting blue. No, it didn't nail it. That I think the villain's awful, but I think Sophie and I think
Michael Fassbender,
all of those really good.
McElroy.
McElroy?
Roy or Voy?
McElroy?
Which one's the golfer?
McElroy.
Okay.
McElroy. I don't know. We'll give it to it.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll give it to it with a caveat. The bad acting is really, really bad, and the good acting is really, really good.
Yes.
Engagement. I was actually engaged,
Yeah.
I'll say.
Mhm.
Story.
Oh, like I was saying earlier, like imagine if this was a Marvel property, and it was like Thor or something, and you had all these people. Like it would be, like I was saying earlier, if it was in the hands of other people, it'd be better.
Yeah.
Like if it was a Marvel, but they just used the story but with the Marvel characters. And imagine instead of Jean Grey, it's like Thor or something.
I feel you. I
know
got
what
you.
I'm saying?
Or Captain Marvel, because I kind of...
Yeah, same. Captain Karen.
Captain Karen, good one. I can't say the story. I think the Jean Grey
Mm-hmm.
progression, character arc is really good, but then it's also just like not good because of the villain. The whole villain thing is just like awful. It's just bad.
Yeah.
You just never feel threatened by them whatsoever. I never did. I was like, yeah, they're fucking nothing.
All right, well, get this. Like I was saying, there's an evil person
Yeah.
that kind of brainwashes Thor to build a new Asgard somewhere that the Avengers don't want it to be built. Turns Thor evil.
But he would be down to build a new Asgard.
No, I'm saying, but he would destroy something.
Oh,
To
he would
do it.
kill. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, my bad.
You know what I'm saying?
I forgot that part.
All right, what's next? What's next stone? Kidney? Liver? Story was the last one.
Yep, that's it. So it got 1,
3? 2?
2, 3. Yep.
50%. Like
They got cinematography, acting, and engagement.
Okay.
I would say it's not 50% because acting is not a full 100. Like, yes,
Right.
I would say it's like
40.
75. Acting wise.
Okay.
So then, yeah, 40 overall. 26 is rude.
Mhm.
It was, dude. When I'm saying anything below like 30, it's like when you're halfway through it, you're like, I just want this to be over. And I didn't feel like that. I
I
was
didn't wanna
I was
leave.
like, get to the next
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah. Do you
I
think it
wanted
was
to
better
leave in John Wick, 100%. I was like, I'm done with this. Like, nothing interesting is gonna happen in this movie.
Was
Like,
it
I don't care about the
better-
plot, and the fight scenes are just the same thing over and
Mhm.
over again. So,
Flipping it, dude.
Yeah.
Um.
John Wick 2 is so good. It's so good. What happened?
Was it better than Pikachu?
God, they're the same. They're the same. They both kind of. I think the thing about Pikachu is like it's saved a little bit because I kind of like the franchise. Like
Yeah, that's
I
fair,
like
that's fair.
Pokemon. I don't really give a shit
Well, it
about
made
these
us play Pokemon.
Exact. I don't give a flippin' shit about any of these characters, and I kind of like the movies, so that's kind of a
You're right.
telltale. 26 is fucking rude.
That is
You're
rude.
gonna give
John
John
Wick.
Wick like a 90, and that is rude. I'm starting to lose faith in Rotten Tomatoes, which is sad. What did this get on?
This as in Dark Phoenix?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are you talking about IMDb?
Yeah. Jean's like outfit choice is kind of sus. 5.9. Man, I just don't know.
Out of 10, right?
Yeah.
That's nicer than 23.
Yeah, for sure.
That's more in line with what we said.
But like IMDb, you never get to 10. There's something about
I mean,
their
the greatest movie, according to them, is only like a 9.7.
exactly like their grading scale is just kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's definitely not. Let me look at John Wick.
Trace.
Just fuck off. Just
What did it say?
fuck off.
8.6.
8.0.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just no.
Okay.
Anything else?
Don't believe so.
All right, I have some PSAs.
Oh yeah, you said you were gonna have this.
So there's a Game of Thrones petition to redo season 8,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is just bullshit. But but the funny thing about the petition that I thought you would enjoy, the guy that made it, right, made this petition.
Mm-hmm.
Over 1 million people have signed it. Da 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 da. Right? He's like full blown, like it's on his Twitter, all this shit. Okay. Then the actors, mainly Bran, Sophie Turner, Kit Harington, Emilia Clarke hasn't, Tyrion, right? They've all come out and said that it's disgusting. You know what I mean? It's like it's very hard to make a show, and so the fact that it didn't finish the way you wanted it or anything like that, and the fact that you're making a petition means that you've loved the show since day one. It's kind of like, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is rude to us. We spend a lot of time and effort on this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, find some solace in it. Don't just try to. You have no, like, this guy has no idea how hard it is to make a television show. You know, the time, the hours, the production, the writing, all this. The money. So it's like, fuck off. You know what I mean? And he said, hey, I just wanted to make sure I didn't offend anyone, and I didn't want to, what's it called? I didn't want to affect any friendships that may come from this. I'm like, are you really trying to fish for some fucking acting friendships on a petition you made about the shit you said shit that they made? Like, oh, buddy, I don't think you're on the right path there.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny.
What a puss.
My other thing. Have you ever been to the fine establishment of Marshalls / TJ Maxx / Home Goods?
Mm-hmm.
What is the worst thing about that place?
Unorganization.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like a Kmart of Big Lots of fucking
Forever
just shit
21,
everywhere, right? No, it's the line.
Okay.
Now, let me set up a scenario for you.
Are you
So
in
you're
line?
like 46 people deep because the place is constantly packed with fucking middle-aged white women
Moms,
trying to
yeah.
buy shit, right? So you're like 46 people deep, okay? And then you finally get into what I like to call the canyon of last-minute regret. And that's where it just has random shit
Yep.
that any person of the opposite sex of mine fucking loves. They latch on. They're
What are
like,
they called?
oh my god,
Impulse
Kate,
buys?
huh?
The impulse.
Yeah,
racks
but
and
it's
stuff?
like it's a canyon. It's on both sides of you,
Yeah.
and it's like fucking Kate Spade phone cases. It's like candles. It's like all the
Candy,
it's
drinks.
candies. It's like shit candy too. It's like
Yeah.
it's horrible,
All
right?
that crap stuff.
So you got like Jorge and his whole family and their kids up in front of you making like a ruckus, right? One of them's like hugging your leg like 6 inches from your dick, and then behind you got like, you know, Quinteria or some other person, and they're like on your butt for some odd reason, because for some odd reason the line's gonna move faster when they're up your, like, literally on your booty, right? And you're just like, dude, this is like the worst. And then on top of all of this, I have Megan in my ear constantly like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I'm just, dude, I'm telling you what, I've been anxious in my life. Nothing puts me over the top like the fucking Marshall's line. I swear I just stare forward and I just go. And it's just a breathing technique for like 5 minutes because my anxiety is just peaked.
Well, and then when you get to check out, they'll try to sign you up for a card.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you do, that takes like 5 extra minutes, 5 to 10 extra minutes.
So the line takes forever. You're just like,
Well, and most people go there don't buy light either.
oh
Like,
no,
they'll
you're
have
buying a
buggies
lot of
worth,
shit. Yeah. Oh my god, it's the absolute worst. It's the absolute worst.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'll just give Megan, like, if it's just her shit and nothing of mine, I'm like, I'll be in the car. Here's the shit that you wanted, and don't buy anything in the line. Oh god, it's the worst. All right, that's all I had to say.
Cool.
All right, no episode next week. I'm off to Colorado, and yeah, so we'll be back next Thursday with maybe Men in Black.
Oh yeah.
if nothing else comes up or anything like that. Or if I think that's the only relevant movie that's coming out. And then Hobbs and Shaw comes out sometime after that. And yeah, so
Yeah.
Cool.
And we'll have a list back, I promise.
Cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Adios.
Adios.
Bye.